2022 and the Naruto franchise continues to, go full speed ahead with Boruto. Even though some persons do not like the thought of that. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Sanjae Uchiha, your friendly neighborhood Uchiha here, and of course, just like I did for the last 2 years, so 2020 and 2021, we're here to actually talk about my expectations, predictions, and just overall start a discussion between myself and you guys when it comes on to the Boruto franchise or the Naruto franchise on a whole for this year 2022. Of course, disclaimer, this video will contain spoilers for the Boruto manga because we'll be taking into consideration the stuff that happened in the previous year to predict, discuss, and probably just talk about our general expectations for chapters 66 to 78, give or take. If I have my math right, definitely correct, that's in the title. And of course, we'll be talking about the anime, so that's going to be an interesting time. So of course, leave your comments, your thoughts in the comment section below, leave a like, and just welcome to the channel. Thanks for the support, and to everybody that supported the channel over the last few years. So let's get into it. So Boruto 2022 because of course that's the main thing when it comes on to the Naruto franchise right now, in terms of things that are going on, week to week, month to month, give or take. So, razzle dazzle. So yeah, all right. So of course, just like last year, we'll be starting talking about the anime because why not? I mean, I think it's going to be in an interesting position for 2022. Of course, as I said in the end of month, end of year / end of month subscriber live stream that I did last week. Shout out to everyone that actually joined me for that. Akil, Kyle, your dad, everybody that came out. 2021 was arguably the best year for the Boruto anime, and after such an incredible year, honestly I think it's honestly the best year, personally speaking. After such an incredible year, the anime has caught up to the manga, and I think a lot of I guess casual fans for the Boruto side of the franchise, but probably hardcore fans for the Naruto side of the franchise are probably worried that we're going into filler hell, because the fact of the matter is the anime is like really close to the manga, so there is absolutely no choice on the on the side of studio period to there's no choice. They just have to do anime original stuff, whether it be from their writers, whether it be Kishimoto giving them an idea for an anime original arc, or they have some insight into like what's going to happen in the manga in the next few months, and they probably do something to tie in with that in the long run. And I think that last point is the main thing I want to really elaborate on for the anime section of this video, because like the truth on the matter is, and I'll say it and I've said it so many times, like the Boruto anime, while I will also admit that all the anime related stuff is not filler, it's anime only stuff, and I think what it comes down to, a lot of persons who trash on Boruto, is that the anime only stuff is the majority of the content, and a lot of time it doesn't actually feel like it's tying into the main narrative, the main story that's happening in the manga, so it just really adds to the feeling of it feeling like filler. And for the most part, it does seem like we're going to be going into that for 2022 for the most part, because based on the last few episodes we got, well, the Kawaki episodes were pretty decent, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty good, but based on the preview for this year's first episode and just my general expectations, I'm expecting to get a lot of small mini arcs focusing on a lot of all the other members of Boruto's generation, like your Iwabe, your Denki, your everybody else. And if the poster from Jump Festa is anything to go by, that's exactly what's going to happen. So that's like my main expectation for 2022. The second thing is that I am expecting something probably similar to the arc with Mitsuki that took place from episodes 70 to 100, give or take, if my memory serves right. So I expect the studio to do like a carefully constructed anime original arc at some point for this year, more than likely focusing on Boruto's generation, because honestly, going from like even though the Kawaki episodes were pretty decent to me, so what, 3 episodes, I don't see them doing like a collection of 3 episode mini arcs for each set of characters for the entire year. I'm expecting like a carefully constructed, like, anime original arc at some point for this year, if it's even for 4 months out of the year, if it's even for 1/3 of the year. I think that should be good, because to me, like, when you get like those, a lot of those individual mini arcs, a lot of times, like, after a while it kind of starts feeling like more quantity than quality. And I'm not saying those mini arcs might not bring forth some quality writing when it comes down to the story they're trying to tell with each like group or character, but at the same time, overall, it, it's gonna start giving me the whole, like, original Naruto, like from episodes 140 to 219 kind of vibe, which had a lot of, cool stuff, but it, for me personally, eventually just kind of segues into just being forgettable a lot of the time. So that's the thing when it comes on to the anime. So I think having one carefully constructed arc, at least it allows the arc to stand out, like, outside, like, in the sea of all these anime original content that we're actually getting, is what I'm essentially saying. So there's that in terms of my expectations. No, like I was saying, maybe it might be a case where they have some insight in what's going to happen in the manga, coming up. Maybe between Kishimoto and Ikimoto, maybe some long-term drafts have been handed to them, and I think this is might be one of the best case scenarios for the anime, where, and it's something I've always said, it's always important to establish a middle ground when it comes down to anime original stuff. If they can make it so that whatever content they'll be doing for the anime original stuff this year can tie into the manga later on, I think that would be the best option. And I've proven this, that it actually works in the grand scheme of things. The latter half of the Kara activation arc is the living proof that when you actually do Boruto anime original content that somehow or in some shape or form ties back into the main story of the manga, and at the end of the day we can see that it actually matters in the grand scheme of things, it does wonders. Now, when it comes on to the manga, it feels like it's too late for a lot of the anime original characters to really get any spotlight or shine, and I think it would be the perfect time for them to, use this opportunity. Not that, I mean, the anime original characters, they've gotten a lot of shine. I mean, it's 200 and plus episodes, but I think it's time to really narrow and focus like a laser on, having these characters get arcs that will eventually definitely tie into the manga. I mean, probably later on, if not next year. That would be the most crucial thing to me in terms of like expectations. And outside of that, probably some form of adaptation of like a novel. That's like my general expectations when it comes on to the Boruto anime for this year. A lot of anime original stuff, a lot of stuff that will probably feel like more quantity than quality, a lot of stuff that will feel like filler, but at the same time I'm expecting a carefully constructed anime original arc by the studio. But my hope is they do content that ties into the manga for 2023, and hopefully a novel. So that's my general expectations for Boruto anime 2022. Now, Boruto manga 2022, chapter 66 to about 78, if I have my math right. Yo, I mean, we're at a very interesting spot when it comes on to the manga. The last chapter of 2021 really ended with a bang. Definitely a really solid chapter in terms of ramping up the pacing, the threat level and representation of Momoshiki and his character, just everything. And like, things are really getting chaotic as it stands right now, and I wouldn't blame anybody, including myself, for thinking this is the last real major conflict before we head into the Boruto time skip. And it's funny because every year we really talk about, the Boruto time skip happening, and I think when, Kodachi was writing it, I think you couldn't really blame me, because things were moving at a much faster rate before quote-unquote Kishimoto took over. So it's like, now with things slowed down, it's really hard to say if we're getting the time skip this year, based on how many things Kishimoto is like really trying to set up. Because this conflict aside, I am expecting, as I did a video recently, Sarada and Mitsuki, not that I expect them to do anything like like with serious impact, but they need to get some panel time, some, you know, just to kind of form a stronger foundation for them going into the potential time skip this year. And honestly, it's anybody's guess if the time skip is happening this year, because with how chaotic things are getting, it's hard to say. But I think we'll get a better long-term idea of how much longer the manga is going to go based on how things go this year, because as it was said by, I believe it was, don't quote me on this, but between Ikemoto and Kodachi, I don't remember which one I was saying, I believe it was Ikemoto though, he wanted the story to be like 30 volumes long, and I think we're going into volume 17 if memory serves right. Let me know, correct me if I'm wrong. And with this year, I'm expecting to get a better idea of what Amado's long-term goals are going to be for this year. And I think Amado is like the key player in determining, you know, where the story is going to go long-term right now. Because I mean, it feels like stuff with Code and Ida, even though it's long-term, yes, but at the same time, it feels like Amado is the more long-term player when it comes on to this story. And his plans and his goals and his connection with Kawaki is going to be the deciding factor, I believe, for the Boruto story manga-wise 2022. So getting a better idea, getting probably not 100% of what Amado's whole, whatever his goal is, but at least, you know, getting a bit more, enough to kind of solidify and say, okay, shit, this thing is gonna go on for a while, we're really going to time skip. We get a better idea even of potentially other long-term threats and, you know, antagonists. Even though, I mean, the whole Otsutsuki clan is like a thing in the background. I mean, the Otsutsuki themselves haven't really been, outside of the ones that have come to Earth, we haven't really established like, oh shit, there's an impending threat of them, like an army of them coming to Earth or something. So right now, Amado feels like the best bet for 2022. And honestly, I think things are going to really rank up in terms of Boruto's, the prophecy, Momoshiki's prophecy for Boruto. I think the pacing and timeline on that is going to really like start clicking, because right now after this fight, given how Momoshiki is controlling Boruto's body, it's going to really and truly decide, really push Boruto either outside of the village, like how persons have been theorizing for years, potentially Boruto's scar. That's the next thing I'm expecting, because of course I did do a video not this year, I believe it was last year, crazy enough, on Boruto's scar. I think I did say it would have been Sasuke would have been the one to give him the scar, and I mean, I am expecting Sasuke to show up in this fight. So who knows, maybe Boruto's the one that gives himself the scar, who knows, that'd be wild though. So yeah, so Boruto's scar, Boruto potentially leaving the village, Boruto's prophecy potentially, you know, speeding up. Basically, things are heading towards the time skip. Like, yo, if the time skip doesn't happen this year, even though it's anybody's guess, it would be, I don't know, man. Like, I would probably just stop talking about Boruto time skip predictions, because the fact that we didn't even get anything in Jump Festa, I mean, it really is anybody's guess, honestly. So there is really and truly that. But I think it's safe to say, because like my thing is this, like when Kishimoto took over, like probably if the time skip was to take place, if it was supposed to have been chapter 60, I feel with how Kishimoto really paced chapters like 55 to 62, yeah, maybe the time skip definitely would have gotten pushed up in favor of Kishimoto setting up a lot of things through the slower pace of those chapters. So right now, honestly, it's hard to see us coming out of 2022 without either the time skip starting, or at least for Jump Festa at the end of 2022 having a solid time frame or a solid trailer, manga trailer, for when the time skip is going to start. So that's like one of my big predictions for Boruto Manga 2022. Amado, time skip, or at least an announcement for at Jump Festa maybe for when the time skip is actually going to take place. So that's pretty much it, honestly. And of course, things with Boruto going, and of course I think the last big thing for Boruto Manga 2022 is, apart from all of that and Sarada and Mitsuki and all of those characters getting involved and, you know, getting in the conflict for them to get a better foundation to, you know, train for the time skip. The ultimate, I wouldn't want to say ultimate fate of Naruto and Sasuke, but coming out of 2022, I think we'll get a good idea of where Naruto and Sasuke are going to stand for this year, because right now Naruto's on the battlefield and this is going to be his first battle since losing Kurama, and with Sasuke potentially showing up at some point, this is going to be his first battle since losing the Rinnegan. I think this year is going to really and truly establish how those characters are going to, you know, go forward, even if they're going to be phased out of the story at some point. So yeah, let me know what you guys think and your expectations for Boruto 2022 and the Naruto franchise. Of course, there is the Sasuke Retsuden novels that will be adapted to manga format. I may or may not cover those. Let me know if you guys would want me to do reviews on those or reactions. I think it could be an interesting experience. But all in all, I'm looking forward to seeing how the Boruto franchise side of the Naruto franchise actually goes this year. It really is looking like it's going to be more so the year of the manga. Well, probably at least the anime versus the manga. This year looks like it's going to be the manga's year versus compared to the anime. Last year was definitely anime. So yeah. But anyway, Sanjae Uchiha, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, hope you guys are having an awesome day, noon, or night, depending on when you're listening to this. Leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comment section, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next Boruto video.